Every week, we bring you missing person cases from across the country, and the sad reality is there are tens of thousands of new cases every single year, many that go unsolved. What you just heard there could be a game changer for the system that has been called broken. Billy's Law overwhelmingly passed in the House last night, 422-4. That never happens, right? This bill will now head to the president's desk. Here's why this is important. Billy's Law is named after a man named Billy Smolinski. He vanished in 2004. His parents have never stopped looking for him, but they have faced countless obstacles and hurdles within this system over the years to get answers. Backers of this bill say it will streamline the process for reporting missing persons and close loopholes in law enforcement databases. Billy's Law did gain a lot more notoriety in the wake of the Gabby Petito case last year. Congresswoman Jahana Hayes, Democrat from Connecticut, sponsored this bill in the House. She is also from the same hometown as Billy Smolinski, and the Congresswoman is with us this morning. As soon as I heard about this, I wanted to talk to you and others who helped push this through. I applaud you for this effort. Clearly, it was a bipartisan effort to make sure and prioritize this. I want to talk about missing people, and Billy was the start of this. Gabby was another case. When we get these missing cases, we talk to the families, and they are frustrated. They aren't getting the answers that they need, obstacle after obstacle. How does this bill help these families who are desperate to find their person?
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. And you're absolutely right. I've spoken to Billy's mom about many of the obstacles and the years-long wait. And I remember, as you said, was my hometown. This family had billboards, and they were putting together search parties, and there were every year on the anniversary, it would be in the newspaper, and every time they got any information, they would try to publicize it, but it was literally just the family working on their own because the system was not designed to help find missing adults. I think more importantly, or equally as important, there are so many families who don't have the agency or the advocacy to even have their stories heard. From my community, I, on a smaller scale, have heard of people that have gone missing, families that are looking for them that never make the news. So this law, I think, twofold, not only creating the database, but also directing the Department of Justice with guidelines on how to deal with missing adults, I think is going to be, to your point, a game changer for so many families who have just exhausted all their resources and feel lost in their search for their loved ones.
Congresswoman, one of the things that we hear often from law enforcement in these cases is they're overwhelmed. They can't track down every piece of evidence. They can't take on every single one of these cases. How does this bill work to reconcile that and resource law enforcement, train them so that they can?
Well, first of all, it streamlines the process by having different agencies, giving different agencies the ability to communicate with each other. Because you have pockets of information that are just sitting there or remains that have gone unidentified or unreported that could help another agency or another law enforcement body in a municipality. So the ability to communicate, but also the funds to run a system like this. So often there are proposals put forth, but they don't have the resources or the money to actually get them up and running. This legislation does that. But training incoming law enforcement, setting guidelines and standards for what that should look like. And I heard you say this bill passed overwhelmingly. My team and I worked so hard this week to really gain support. And some of the concerns were about, Big Brother watching and the sharing of information and how that would be managed. And, there were technical changes that were made to the point where people were comfortable. My colleagues were comfortable in supporting this bill because the overall purpose is much, much greater. The idea of helping these families who I think all of my colleagues have experienced or are meeting more and more people who have this issue. And really, we centered on this idea that we have to do something to help them.
And part of the help, the mission came from the family of Gabby Petito, right? How impactful was having that family involved, a case that is so fresh in the headlines and so tragic, impact getting this pushed through?
That was unbelievable. I mean, when you're legislating, public sentiment is everything. We need inside, legislative effort, but also outside mobilization. So the fact that this case was so fresh in people's mind, that it had gained national attention, but also that her father was willing to be just a voice for this legislation, to share it out, to advocate for it, the parents called the speaker's office to ask that when I was trying to get this legislation on the calendar and to the floor, don't forget our children. Please put this legislation on the floor. So I know that I couldn't have done it on the House side without them. Senator Murphy had been working on this for years, and it finally passed the Senate by unanimous consent. But on the House side, not only did I have to get it on the calendar, a roll call vote was asked for. So I had to make sure before this vote came up that members knew how important it was, that we had the support. So that could not have happened without literally Mr. Petito using his voice and lending us his voice to this very important conversation. Because again, the tragedy that happened to his daughter gave him this platform where he had the ability to speak. There are so many families who never even get an on-air interview. So literally what he did was speak for them as well. And just that energy, that outside mobilization is really what allowed us to get this bill to the floor in the last week of our legislative session.
No, it is important work. As I have said before on this program, every single missing person matters. Ask the people who are searching for them. This is a mission that will help those families get answers, streamline the system. It is important. It is purposeful. Representative Jahana Hayes out of Connecticut, thank you. Billy's story started it. Gabby's continued it, and this means a big deal for a lot of families who have missing people cases active right now. Thank you. It's good to talk to you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for amplifying the voices of all those other families, because they deserve to be heard as well. I appreciate all the work that you do.
Of course, we share in that mission together. All right, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.